My child, do not scroll away. This message found you because heaven interrupted the noise around you. Do not let your hand move past this moment. Do not tell yourself you will come back later. Do not treat this as another video passing across your screen, because this is not random, this is not the algorithm, and this is not coincidence. Heaven stepped into the middle of your exhaustion and placed this word in front of you because there is something God needs your spirit to hear before you take one more step. It is over. The warfare cannot cross this line. Listen to me carefully, beloved. God has drawn a boundary in the spirit, and what has been chasing you, draining you, confusing you, delaying you, tormenting you, and circling back every time you tried to breathe again does not have permission to follow you beyond this point. The line has been drawn. The decree has been released. The cycle that kept restarting every time peace got close has reached its expiration date. Not next year, not someday, not after you become perfect. Right now, heaven is announcing that the warfare stops here. You thought you found this message, but this message was sent to find you. God saw the tears you wiped away before anyone walked into the room. God heard the late-night prayers that had no beautiful words left in them. God heard you when all you could say was, "Lord, I am tired." He saw the moment you sat in silence, asking why the attacks kept coming in waves. He saw how you tried to keep functioning while your soul was heavy. He saw how you smiled in places where you were secretly breaking. He saw the questions you never typed, never spoke, never confessed to anyone, but carried in the hidden chambers of your heart. And I hear the Lord saying, I did not miss one detail. I did not ignore one wound. I did not overlook one betrayal. I did not forget one night when you fought to keep your faith while everything around you looked like delay. This season has had a pattern. You know it. Every time you got close to peace, something stirred. Every time you started to recover, another battle appeared. Every time you felt your strength coming back, confusion rose up again, repeated attacks, strange delays, sudden heaviness, betrayals from people you trusted, closed doors that made no sense, emotional pressure that came out of nowhere, battles in your mind, battles in your home, battles in your body, battles around your purpose, battles that made you ask, God, why does it feel like I cannot get free? But hear this. This message is not the beginning of another warning. This is the announcement of a verdict. Heaven is not here to frighten you today. Heaven is here to inform you that the old cycle has expired. The permission has ended. The access has been revoked. What used to pass through easily is about to meet a wall it cannot climb, a gate it cannot open, and a decree it cannot overturn. That is why you felt pulled to stop here. That is why something in your chest recognized this word before your mind could explain it. That is why your spirit is leaning in right now. Because deep down, you know this is not ordinary encouragement. This is a divine interruption. God is stepping between you and what has been pursuing you, and He is saying, enough, no farther, no more. This child belongs to me. Before the main message begins, make your agreement visible. Hit the like button right now as a sign that you agree with heaven that this warfare is ending. Subscribe if you know God has been speaking to you through these messages, and you are not willing to miss the next instruction for your life, and type in the comments, it is over. Not as a slogan, not as empty words. Type it as a declaration over your mind, over your house, over your future, over your sleep, over your peace, over every place where the enemy thought he still had access. Comment it now. It is over. Because God is about to name the exact battles that cannot follow you into the next season. The confusion cannot follow. The betrayal cannot follow. The heaviness cannot follow. The delay cannot follow. The old fear cannot follow. The spiritual warfare that exhausted you has reached the boundary of God's command. And from this moment forward, it must stop at the line. And now God is pulling back the veil on something you have been carrying quietly. Heaven has not judged you by your weakest moment. Heaven has not reduced your whole season to one tired prayer, one angry night, one day when you did not have strength to believe, one week when your faith felt thin, one season when discouragement sat on your chest and whispered, you are failing. No, beloved, God did not look at one moment of exhaustion and call that your identity. God reviewed the whole season. You have been harder on yourself than heaven has been. You looked at the moment you broke down and thought, maybe I am not strong enough. You looked at the inconsistency in your emotions and thought, maybe something is wrong with me. You looked at the repeated battles and thought, maybe I am cursed. maybe I keep attracting pain. Maybe I missed God somewhere. But I hear the Lord saying, I did not count only the moment you stumbled. I counted the nights you kept going. I counted the prayers you whispered through tears. I counted the obedience that cost you deeply and was never applauded by people. There has already been a review in the courts of heaven. Evidence was brought forward, not the evidence your accusers wanted to show, not the edited version that made you look unstable, difficult, weak, emotional, or unqualified. Heaven reviewed the tears no one counted. Heaven reviewed the doors that closed in your face when you were trying to obey. Heaven reviewed the people who misunderstood you when you were doing your best to survive. Heaven reviewed the times you stayed silent because speaking would have made the wound deeper. Heaven reviewed the times you forgave while still bleeding. Heaven reviewed the times you chose not to retaliate, not because you had nothing to say, but because God held your tongue. Do you understand what I am telling you? The record has been corrected. The enemy tried to present your fatigue as failure, but God presented your endurance as evidence. The enemy tried to present your tears as weakness, but God presented your tears as proof that your heart was still alive. The enemy tried to present your silence as defeat, but God presented your silence as obedience under pressure. The enemy tried to say, look at how tired they are, but heaven answered, look at how much they survived and still did not let go of my name. That is why this word is hitting something deep in you right now. That is why you may feel a stirring in your chest. That is why your eyes may be filling even before you know why. Because your spirit knows when it is being vindicated. Your spirit knows when heaven is speaking to the part of you that people never saw. You woke up tired, even after sleeping. You felt watched by old fear, even on days when nothing obvious was happening. You sensed heaviness right before something good was about to open. You wondered why every blessing seemed contested, why every step forward came with resistance, why peace always seemed to have to fight its way into your life. God saw all of it, every attack that tried to make you quit before the promise manifested, every delay that tried to make you doubt the word, every betrayal that tried to make you close your heart, every heaviness that came right when you were about to believe again, every strange opposition that rose when you started moving toward purpose. God saw it, God recorded it, God weighed it, and God has ruled in your favor. So stop calling yourself weak when heaven calls you proven. Stop calling yourself inconsistent when God calls you under pressure. Stop calling yourself cursed when God says you were being contested because something valuable was being guarded inside you. The pressure was not proof that you were abandoned. The pressure was proof that there was oil on your life, purpose in your future, and a promise the enemy did not want to see manifested. And now the diagnosis is becoming clear. The battle felt personal because the assignment on your life is personal. The resistance was not random. The warfare was not accidental. What came against you was aimed at what God placed within you. And in the next part of this word, God is going to show you why the attack was never really about your weakness. It was about your assignment. Listen to me carefully, beloved. The attack was not assigned to your weakness. It was assigned to your assignment. The enemy did not study you because you were empty. He studied you because heaven deposited something in you that threatens the darkness around you. That is why the warfare came in patterns. That is why it did not feel like ordinary frustration. That is why the same kinds of battles kept circling your life at the exact moments when you were about to heal, obey, rise, forgive, build, speak, move, or believe again. This was targeted resistance against purpose, targeted resistance against healing, targeted resistance against influence, targeted resistance against peace, targeted resistance against obedience. The enemy was not just trying to make your day hard. He was trying to interrupt the future version of you that walks in authority, discernment, generosity, clarity, and divine stability. He wanted you delayed before you arrived. He wanted you drained before you served. He wanted you confused before you decided. He wanted you isolated before you connected with the people God assigned to your next season. That is why the attacks touched so many areas at once. Your body felt tired because the enemy wanted you too exhausted to carry what God was preparing. Your mind felt crowded because the enemy wanted your thoughts full of fog when God was trying to give you instruction. Your heart felt guarded because the enemy wanted you to confuse protection with isolation. Your money felt pressured because the enemy saw future generosity on your life. Your relationships became painful because the enemy saw future discernment rising in you. Your confidence was shaken because the enemy saw future authority being formed in you. Do you see it now? The financial pressure was not just about bills, it was about the giver you are becoming. It was about the resources God intends to trust you with. It was about the lives that will be helped, because you will not always be in survival mode. Darkness tried to make you fear lack so deeply that when abundance came, you would still think like a prisoner. But God says no. You will not carry poverty, fear into provision. You will not carry panic into increase. You will not carry the memory of empty places into the rooms where God is filling your hands. The relationship wounds were not just about who left, who lied, who misunderstood, who betrayed, who changed, who abandoned, who used your kindness and then acted like you were the problem. No, beloved, those wounds came against your discernment. They came against your ability to recognize covenant from convenience, assignment from attachment, and divine connection from counterfeit access. The enemy wanted your heart so bruised that you would reject the right people when God sent them. But God is restoring your discernment. God is teaching you the difference between love and access, between compassion and permission, between forgiveness and returning to bondage. The mental torment was not just overthinking. It was warfare against clarity. It was warfare against instruction. It was warfare against the quiet place where God speaks. The enemy knew that if your mind became still, you would hear the next command. He knew that if confusion lifted, you would make the decision that breaks the cycle. He knew that if fear stopped shouting, faith would rise and you would obey. That is why there were nights when your thoughts ran in circles. That is why small things felt heavy. That is why one message, one memory, one silence, one delay could pull you into a storm inside yourself. But I decree over you right now, the fog is lifting, the torment is breaking, the voice of God will be clear again. And the rejection, beloved, the rejection was not proof that you were unwanted. It was training for authority. It was separation disguised as pain. It was God allowing the wrong tables to close, so you would stop asking permission from people who were never qualified to define you. Darkness wanted rejection to make you shrink. God used it to make you stand. Darkness wanted rejection to make you beg. God used it to teach you dignity. Darkness wanted rejection to make you bitter. God used it to purify your authority, so that when you speak, you will not speak from insecurity. You will speak from identity. That is why I need you to stop saying, "What is wrong with me?" Nothing is wrong with the assignment God placed on your life. It was opposed because it is real. It was attacked because it is dangerous. It was resisted because it carries weight. Darkness does not waste strategy on what it owns. Darkness attacks what it fears. Darkness attacks oil. Darkness attacks obedience. Darkness attacks deliverance before it spreads. Darkness attacks voices before they speak. Darkness attacks builders before they build. Darkness attacks intercessors before they pray with fire. Darkness attacks healers while they are still bleeding because it knows what will happen when they get whole. Every cycle of sabotage is ending. Every hidden trap is being exposed. Every counterfeit voice is losing access. Every delay sent to wear you down is being broken. Every spirit of confusion sent to cloud your judgment is being silenced. Every pattern that provoked you into wrong reactions is losing its grip. Every setup designed to make you look unstable is being overturned. Every false burden that made you feel forgotten by God is falling off your shoulders right now. Because hear me, my child, God did not forget you. God was not absent. God was not confused about your pain. God saw the strategy. He saw how the enemy tried to delay the promise, drain the body, confuse the mind, isolate the heart, provoke the reaction, and then accuse you for reacting while wounded. God saw the whole thing, and heaven is not only revealing the strategy to you, heaven is dismantling it. This is why the battle was intense. Your calling is dangerous to darkness. Your healing will break patterns. Your obedience will open doors. Your testimony will free somebody else. Your peace will become evidence. Your restoration will embarrass what tried to destroy you, but the assignment against you has reached its limit. And now God is not merely explaining the warfare. He is ending the permission structure that allowed it to keep repeating. The access is being revoked. The cycle is being closed. The verdict is being enforced. What came against your assignment has run into the authority of the one who assigned you. And I hear the decree of the Lord going forth over your life right now. Enough. The delay ends. The torment stops. The cycle closes. The warfare cannot follow you here. What had permission in the last season does not have permission in this one. What found an opening before is meeting a sealed gate now. What chased you through old wounds, old fears, old attachments, old agreements, and old accusations is running into the command of God, and it cannot pass. Beloved, this is not emotional hype. This is not just a moment to make you feel better for a few minutes. This is a spiritual boundary. This is heaven drawing a legal line in the realm of the spirit and saying, no farther. The enemy may have used access points before. He may have used pain before. He may have used fear before. He may have used memories before. He may have used people before. He may have used delay before. But the permission has expired. The access has expired. The old door is closing. The old claim is being silenced. The old accusation is dissolving under the blood, under the word, under the verdict of the Most High God. I need you to understand this with your spirit. What once pursued you is not stronger than the decree of God. What once intimidated you is not greater than the authority of heaven. What once kept circling your life is not allowed to keep circling when God says the cycle is closed. The torment had a time limit. The delay had a time limit. The confusion had a time limit. The warfare had a time limit, and that limit has been reached. The Lord is revoking permissions you did not even know were active. Permissions created through trauma, permissions created through fear, permissions created through agreement with lies, permissions created when you kept saying, "This always happens to me." Permissions created when shame convinced you that you deserved the battle. Permissions created when old voices made you believe you could never be free. But God is breaking every agreement your pain made with bondage. God is canceling every contract fear tried to write over your future. God is dissolving every accusation that used your past as evidence against your promise. The fear of loss is breaking right now. You will not live with your hands clenched around everything, terrified that the moment you breathe, something will be taken. Repeated betrayal is losing its legal access. The cycle of trusting, being wounded, recovering, opening again, and being wounded again is being interrupted by divine discernment. Unexplained financial leaking is being sealed. Money that disappeared, opportunities that vanished, resources that drained without reason. Pressure that came every time you started to rise, that pattern is being judged by heaven. Spiritual fatigue is lifting. The heaviness that made prayer feel hard, worship feel distant, and hope feel expensive is being removed from your shoulders. Family conflict is meeting the boundary of God. The same arguments, the same provocations, the same generational wounds, the same household tension that kept pulling you back into old versions of yourself will not have the same power over you. Shame from old mistakes is being silenced. The enemy will not keep replaying what God has already forgiven. He will not keep using yesterday to strangle tomorrow. Confusion about your identity is ending. You are not what happened to you. You are not what they called you. You are not the reaction you had while wounded. You are not the season you barely survived. You are who God says you are. If you believe that the old warfare has lost legal access to your life, type this in the comments right now. The permission has expired, not later, right now. Type it as a witness in the earth. Type it as an agreement with heaven. Type it over your mind. Type it over your bloodline. Type it over your finances. Type it over your sleep. Type it over your calling. The permission has expired. The enemy does not get to keep using old doors. The enemy does not get to keep entering through old wounds. The enemy does not get to keep accusing you with what God already cleansed. Every claim against your peace is being silenced. Every claim against your future is being silenced. Every claim against your health is being silenced. Every claim against your family is being silenced. Every claim against your calling is being silenced. The door is closed. The access is revoked. The agreement is broken. The accusation is dissolved. The verdict is final. And hear me carefully, my child. When God closes access, the enemy does not just lose permission to attack you the same way. He loses the right to define what the attack meant. That means the battle cannot name you. The betrayal cannot name you. The delay cannot name you. The loss cannot name you. The warfare cannot name you. God names you. God covers you. God restores you. God defends you. God establishes the line, and what used to chase you must now stop at that line and answer to him. This is why the next season will feel different. Not because nothing will ever try to rise again, but because what rises will meet a different authority around you. You are not standing uncovered anymore. You are not standing confused anymore. You are not standing in agreement with fear anymore. You are standing inside the verdict of God, and when heaven says access expired, hell cannot renew it. But now that the permission has expired, God is going deeper, because He is not only blocking what attacked you, He is removing what kept reopening the door. He is separating you from the people, the patterns, and the places that kept feeding the battle. He is not just ending the warfare, He is cutting off the supply line that allowed it to return. So, do not panic when God starts removing what you thought you needed. Do not panic when certain conversations do not feel the same. Do not panic when old rooms become uncomfortable. Do not panic when your spirit no longer has tolerance for what your flesh used to make excuses for. That is not rejection. That is not loss. That is holy separation. Listen to me carefully, beloved. When God ends warfare, He does not leave the supply lines open. He does not declare peace over you and then leave you connected to the very systems that kept feeding the battle. He does not break the chain and leave the door unlocked. He does not heal the wound and allow the same hand to keep touching it. No. When God says the warfare is over, He also begins removing the people, the patterns, and the places that gave that warfare a way back in. There are people who drained your discernment. They did not always look dangerous. Some of them sounded familiar. Some of them knew how to use history, guilt, sympathy, obligation, and emotional pressure to pull you back into confusion. One conversation with them could undo days of peace. One message from them could awaken fear you had finally laid down. One accusation, one silence, one manipulation, one reminder of the old version of you, and suddenly your spirit felt cloudy again. But God says, their access is being interrupted. Their emotional control is breaking. Their ability to pull you back into the old cycle is losing power, because their assignment ended with the old season. And hear this. Some connections were not removed because they were evil. Some were removed because they were expired. Some were removed because they belonged to a version of you that God has delivered you from. Some were removed because they could only recognize your pain, not your healing. They knew how to relate to you when you were broken, but they will not know how to honor you when you are whole. They knew how to access your weakness, but they cannot walk with your authority. So God is not taking from you. God is guarding the peace He is releasing. Then there are patterns that reopened wounds. The pattern of checking what God told you to leave alone. The pattern of answering from fear instead of waiting in wisdom. The pattern of rehearsing old conversations until the wound started bleeding again. The pattern of apologizing for boundaries you were commanded to set. The pattern of running back to what hurt you because the quiet felt unfamiliar. The pattern of calling bondage comfort just because it was familiar. God is breaking those patterns right now, not gently enough for your flesh to negotiate with them, strong enough that your spirit knows this door is closed. Do not chase what God is closing. Do not explain what God is exposing. Do not resurrect what God has buried. If God is removing access, let access be removed. If God is drying up the emotional pull, do not water it with memory. If God is showing you the truth, do not cover it with sentiment. If God is making something feel empty, it may be because He has already removed His grace from that connection, that habit, that room, that cycle, that agreement. And then there are places that pull you back into old identity, places where you become smaller without realizing it, places where your language changes, your confidence drops, your peace becomes negotiable, and the old version of you starts trying to breathe again. God is separating you from environments that trained you to survive, but never allowed you to become. The room may be familiar, but if it keeps calling you by what God has already delivered you from, it cannot go forward with you. Type this right now, if your spirit bears witness. I will not reopen the door. Type it as an agreement. I will not reopen the door. Not to the old control, not to the old fear, not to the old confusion, not to the old appetite for chaos, not to the old place where your peace had to beg for permission to exist. This separation is protection. This separation is mercy. This separation is God building a wall around what He is restoring. Because after the battle ends, your peace must be guarded. After the verdict is released, your environment must come into alignment. After the old access expires, the old systems must be removed. And when they are removed, there will be a quiet you are not used to. A strange quiet, a holy quiet, a space where the noise used to be. Do not confuse that quiet with emptiness. Do not call peace abandonment just because your nervous system only knew warfare. After separation comes stillness. And in that stillness, God is going to teach you how to live without bracing for the next attack. And I need you to hear this, beloved. Peace may feel strange at first. Peace may feel suspicious. Peace may feel like something is missing because you have lived so long with tension in your shoulders, pressure in your chest, noise in your mind, and warfare at your door. You became so used to surviving that calm almost feels unsafe. You became so used to waiting for the next blow that when nothing is hitting you, part of you starts asking, what is about to happen? But God says, do not fear the quiet after the war. Do not mistake stillness for danger. Do not confuse the absence of chaos with the silence before another attack. No, my child, this quiet is not a setup. This quiet is evidence. This quiet is the first sound of the decree working. This quiet is what it feels like when the enemy no longer has the same access to your emotions, your atmosphere, your sleep, your decisions, your relationships, your thoughts, and your future. You are not being abandoned in the quiet. You are being restored in the quiet. You are not being left alone. You are being hidden under the shadow of the Almighty while your strength comes back. The war trained you to brace. The war trained you to scan the room. The war trained you to expect disappointment even when something good appeared. The war trained you to protect yourself before anyone even touched the wound. But now, God is teaching you a new rhythm. Not bracing, breathing, not panicking, praying, not reacting, resting, not waiting for impact, waiting on instruction. Watch what begins to happen in you. Sleep will start returning without you fighting for it all night. Your breathing will become easier, like something heavy has lifted from your chest. Those sudden emotional crashes that came out of nowhere will begin to lose their power. The wave that used to pull you under will not be able to take you as deep. Decisions that felt impossible will become clearer. You will know what to answer and what to ignore. You will know what to enter and what to leave alone. You will pray without panic. You will worship without feeling like you are trying to break through a wall. You will sit in silence and not feel accused by it. That is deliverance settling into your nervous system. That is peace entering places where warfare used to live. That is God teaching your body, your mind, and your spirit that the old alarm does not have to keep sounding. The battle may have trained you to flinch, but God is retraining you to trust. The battle may have trained you to expect loss, but God is retraining you to receive. The battle may have trained you to live guarded against everything, but God is teaching you the difference between wisdom and fear. Type this right now if you are ready to receive this peace. I will not fear the quiet. Type it as agreement. I will not fear the quiet. I will not run back to chaos just because peace feels unfamiliar. I will not create storms in my mind because my spirit is finally still. I will not call restoration boring. I will not call calm suspicious. I will not sabotage the rest God is giving me because survival became familiar. The quiet is where God rebuilds strength. The quiet is where discernment sharpens. The quiet is where joy comes back softly at first, then steadily, then stronger than before. The quiet is where trust begins to breathe again. You do not have to earn this peace by worrying. You do not have to protect this peace by staying afraid. The Lord Himself is guarding what He has released. I decree and declare over you right now, your peace will not be temporary. Your rest will not be stolen. Your mind will not return to old torment. Your heart will not be dragged back into old chaos. The sound of warfare is fading, and the sound of guarded peace is rising in your life. But hear me carefully. Peace is not passive. Peace is preparation. God is not quieting the storm so you can disappear. He is quieting the storm so you can recover strength for what comes next. Because the same place where warfare tried to exhaust you is the place where God is about to reveal reversal. The quiet is not the end of the story. The quiet is the beginning of restoration becoming visible. And now hear me, beloved. God is not only stopping the attack, He is restoring the territory the attack tried to ruin. He is not only saying, the warfare ends here. He is saying, now I will put my hand on every place the warfare touched. Every place the warfare touched, God is placing His hand. Every place that was weakened, God is releasing strength. Every place that was drained, God is releasing fullness. Every place that was confused, God is releasing order. Every place that looked like permanent damage is becoming the exact place where restoration will be seen. This is why you could not give up. This is why the enemy fought so hard to make you believe nothing would change. Because reversal was already written over the places that looked most broken. The battle wanted you to think the damage was final. God says the damage is not final. The pain is not final. The loss is not final. The delay is not final. The report is not final. The betrayal is not final. The exhaustion is not final. I am putting my hand on it now. I decree reversal over your mind right now. Where there was torment, clarity is coming. Where there was confusion, wisdom is rising. Where there was distraction, focus is returning. Where thoughts used to scatter in 100 directions, the peace of God is gathering you back into divine alignment. You will not spend the next season trapped in mental noise. You will not be ruled by racing thoughts, old accusations, imagined disasters, and conversations that never happened. The voice of fear is losing volume. The voice of God is becoming clear. You will know what to do. You will know when to move. You will know when to wait. You will know what is yours and what is not yours to carry. And I speak over your finances. The leaks are being sealed. The places where money disappeared, where resources drained, where pressure came at the exact moment you were trying to stabilize, those places are coming under the hand of God. Unexpected provision is being released. Restored opportunities are coming back around. Doors that were blocked without explanation are opening without manipulation. You will not have to beg for what God assigned. You will not have to perform for what God promised. You will not have to compromise your peace to step into provision. The Lord is teaching you disciplined increase, not chaotic increase. Increase you can steward. Increase you can hold. Increase that does not make you afraid. Increase that does not pull you back into panic, but teaches your hands to be steady. Type this right now if your spirit receives it. Restoration is touching my finances. Type it with faith. Restoration is touching my finances. Not greed, not fear, not desperation. Restoration. The enemy tried to make you think you would always be behind, always catching up, always waiting for one more thing to go wrong. But God says the devourer is being rebuked. The waste is being stopped. The pressure is being lifted. The door is opening. And I decree reversal over your relationships. God is exposing what needs to be exposed, not to hurt you, but to free you. Hidden motives are coming into the light. Confusing connections are becoming clear. Honest conversations are being released where silence created wounds. Family places that have carried tension for years are being touched by mercy. Bitterness is loosening its grip. The ache of what was said, what was not said, what was done, what was ignored, what was repeated, what was never apologized for, God is putting His hand there too. You will not carry poison into the promise. You will not drag old bitterness into a new season. You will not mistake counterfeit connection for covenant. You will not keep giving sacred access to people who only know how to use your wounds against you. God is protecting you from counterfeit connections dressed like comfort. He is protecting you from familiar voices that do not carry His peace. He is sending divine relationships that honor, healing, tell the truth, respect boundaries, and strengthen obedience. And where family restoration is possible, the Lord will soften hearts. Where distance is protection, the Lord will give you peace without guilt. Now I speak reversal over your health, your body, your strength, your sleep, and your emotions. Renewed energy is coming. Not just a burst of excitement that fades in 3 days, but strength that returns little by little, day by day, breath by breath. Calmer sleep is coming. The night will not always be a battlefield. Your body will not always feel like it is carrying invisible weight. Your emotions will become steadier. The sudden crashes, the heavy waves, the exhaustion after small things, the shame over needing rest, the guilt over caring for yourself, that cycle is breaking. God is giving you grace to care for your body without shame, grace to rest without apology, grace to eat with peace, grace to move with patience, grace to rebuild without condemning yourself for how tired the war made you. Your body survived what your mouth could not explain. Your nervous system endured alarms no one else heard. Your heart kept beating through seasons where you did not know how you would make it to the next morning. But now, the hand of God is coming upon your strength. Every place the warfare touched, God is placing His hand. I need you to say this out loud if you can. God is restoring what the warfare touched. Say it again. God is restoring what the warfare touched. Say it until your spirit hears it louder than the memory of loss. God is restoring my mind. God is restoring my finances. God is restoring my relationships. God is restoring my strength. God is restoring my peace. God is restoring my future. Beloved, this reversal will not remain hidden forever. What God is doing inwardly will begin to show outwardly. The shift will have evidence. The peace will have evidence. The healing will have evidence. The provision will have evidence. The clarity will have evidence. The protection will have evidence. You are not imagining this change. You are not pretending this boundary is real. Heaven has moved, and now the earth must respond. So watch. Watch without fear. Watch without suspicion. Watch without running back to panic the moment something begins to change. Watch for the message, the door, the conversation, the confirmation, the sudden release, the quiet yes in your spirit, the thing that starts moving after being stuck for so long. Because the shift will not remain invisible. God is about to let you see evidence that the warfare has ended and reversal has begun. And I need you to watch now, beloved, but watch with faith, not frenzy. Watch with prayer, not panic. Watch with obedience, not obsession. God is going to confirm the shift, but He is not confirming it so you can start controlling everything. He is confirming it so you can align your steps with what heaven has already spoken. Do not go looking for fear in every shadow. Do not turn every pause into a prophecy of loss. Do not make an idol out of timing. The signs are not being released to make you frantic. The signs are being released to steady you. God is teaching you how to recognize movement without running back into survival mode. You are not watching like someone afraid the warfare will return. You are watching like someone who knows the old access has expired, and now the evidence must catch up with the verdict. Within 48 hours, some of you will notice unusual peace rising in a place where panic used to live. The situation may not even look fully changed yet, but your response will be different. You will look at something that used to make your chest tighten, and suddenly there will be space to breathe. You will receive a message, remember a situation, face a pressure, and the old spiral will not pull you down like it used to. That is a sign. Do not dismiss it because it feels small. Peace in a place where panic used to rule is not small. That is territory being reclaimed. Within 9 days, a conversation or confirmation may expose what God is closing. A person may reveal their heart, a pattern may become obvious, a door may lose its pull, a thing you were confused about may suddenly become clear. And when it happens, do not run back to denial because truth feels uncomfortable. Pray, listen, write it down, ask God for wisdom. If He shows you that something is closing, do not keep begging Him to bless what He is removing. If He shows you that something is over, do not call it an attack when it is actually protection. Within 21 days, a decision may require courage. Not fear, courage. There is a difference. Fear says, what if I lose everything? Courage says, if God is leading me, obedience is safer than delay. You may have to say no. You may have to stop explaining. You may have to release what you kept trying to rescue. You may have to step through a door that requires faith before all the details are visible. But hear me carefully. God will not require courage without giving confirmation. He will not ask you to walk without His peace. Test every door by peace and truth, not by emotion only, not by pressure only, not by desperation only. Peace and truth. Within 30 days, a practical door may begin to open. A call, an opportunity, a resource, a solution, a direction. A person placed at the right time with the right instruction. Something that has been stuck may begin to move. Something that has been delayed may start responding. Something that looked blocked may begin to loosen. And when it opens, do not sabotage it by saying, "This is too good to be true." Do not let the memory of warfare become stronger than your expectation of restoration. If God opens it, walk with humility, walk with wisdom, walk with discernment, but walk. I need you to write down what God shows you in this season. Do not trust fear to interpret your future. Write the dream, write the confirmation, write the conversation, write the date, write what shifted in your spirit, write what lost its power over you, write what God made clear, because in a few weeks, you will look back and realize the signs were not random. Heaven was ordering your steps. Heaven was confirming the boundary. Heaven was showing you, piece by piece, that the warfare was not following you forward. And if something takes longer than you expected, do not call delay defeat. Do not do that. The old you interpreted waiting as rejection. The restored you will interpret waiting as preparation. The old you thought silence meant abandonment. The restored you will know silence can mean God is working behind the veil. The old you panicked when the timeline did not obey your anxiety. The restored you will stand still and say, God has not changed his mind. Share this video with someone who has been under heavy warfare and needs to hear that the old battle is ending. Send it to the person who has been tired in their soul. The person who keeps fighting the same invisible war. The person who needs confirmation that God has drawn a line. Do it now, not as a performance, but as agreement. When you help someone else recognize the end of warfare, you are testifying that God is a finisher, a defender, and a restorer. But now listen to me. You cannot enter a warfare-free season while still calling yourself by the name the battle gave you. You cannot step into protected peace while still answering to broken, rejected, cursed, delayed, forgotten, abandoned, defeated. No, the signs will confirm the shift around you. But God is also about to reverse the name inside you. Because the battle is not your identity. The wound is not your identity. The warfare is not your identity. God's word over you is your identity. You are not the version of you that the battle tried to create. Hear me clearly, beloved. You are not the anxious version. You are not the abandoned version. You are not the unstable version. You are not the one who always has to brace, always has to explain, always has to recover, always has to fight just to breathe. That is not your name. That is not your portion. That is not the identity heaven wrote over you before the foundations of the earth. The warfare tried to rename you. It tried to make you answer to rejection. It tried to make you answer to delay. It tried to make you answer to too damaged, too late, too tired, too broken, too complicated, too far behind. It tried to convince you that because the battle lasted a long time, the battle had authority over who you are. But the length of the battle does not determine your identity. The intensity of the attack does not determine your identity. The opinion of people who only met you in survival mode does not determine your identity. God's word over you determines your identity. You are beloved. You are protected. You are assigned. You are carried. You are covered. You are not unlucky. You are not cursed. You are not permanently delayed. You are not always going to be the one fighting invisible battles while everyone else seems to move forward with ease. No, that season was real, but it was not your name. That pain was real, but it was not your prophecy. That warfare was real, but it was not your future. Listen to me carefully. If the warfare could have destroyed you, it would have destroyed you. If the weapon formed against you had authority to finish you, it would have finished you. If the darkness assigned against your life had permission to erase your assignment, you would not be here receiving this word right now, but you are still here. You are still breathing. You are still listening. Something in your spirit is still responding. Something in you still knows God is not finished, and that survival is not accidental. That survival is evidence. Your survival is evidence that God preserved you. Your survival is evidence that the enemy did not have final say. Your survival is evidence that grace was standing between you and what tried to consume you. You may have bent, but you did not break beyond repair. You may have cried, but you did not disappear. You may have questioned, but you did not lose the hand of God. You may have walked through fire, but the smell of smoke will not define the next season of your life. I decree and declare over you right now, the battle-defined version of you is losing its authority. The version of you that expected betrayal is losing its authority. The version of you that apologized for needing peace is losing its authority. The version of you that thought love always comes with pain is losing its authority. The version of you that believed delay meant denial is losing its authority. The version of you that kept waiting for something bad to happen is losing its authority. You are entering the next season as a child of God, not as a victim begging for relief. You are not crawling into your promise. You are not sneaking into peace. You are not asking darkness for permission to be free. You are walking under divine covering. You are walking with the protection of the Father over your mind, over your house, over your steps, over your decisions, over your relationships, over your future. You are not uncovered. You are not exposed. You are not wandering without help. The Lord is guiding you into peace. and what He guides, He guards. And do not shrink when God starts restoring your confidence. Do not apologize when your voice comes back. Do not feel guilty when you no longer tolerate what used to control you. Some people only knew how to relate to the wounded version of you. Some people were comfortable when you were unsure, when you were over-explaining, when you were trying to prove you were worth staying for. But the restored you will not keep auditioning for acceptance. The restored you will not call manipulation love. The restored you will not confuse chaos with connection. The restored you will know, I am chosen, even when I am not chosen by them. You are dangerous to darkness because you survived and still belong to God. You are dangerous because you have discernment now. You are dangerous because you know what bondage feels like, and you will not decorate it and call it home. You are dangerous because the enemy attacked your mind, and now God is making your mind steady. He attacked your peace, and now God is making your peace guarded. He attacked your identity, and now God is speaking your name louder than the warfare ever did. Type this right now, and do not just type it with your fingers. Type it as agreement from your spirit. I am not what I survived. I am who God called me to be. Type it again if you need to. I am not what I survived. I am who God called me to be. Say it out loud if you can. Let your own ears hear your spirit come out of agreement with the old name. I am not what I survived. I am who God called me to be. You are not abandoned. You are beloved. You are not unstable. You are being established. You are not unlucky. You are covered. You are not too damaged. You are being restored. You are not always delayed. You are being aligned. You are not always fighting. You are being carried into peace. You are not the wound. You are not the war. You are not the accusation. You are not the season that tried to break you. You are the one God kept. You are the one God called. You are the one God is bringing through with testimony in your mouth and strength in your bones. Now the final step is this. We must bless the boundary. We must seal what God has spoken so you do not carry old warfare into new ground. You cannot take the old name into the new season. You cannot take old fear into protected peace. You cannot take old agreement into fresh restoration. So stay with me now, beloved. Do not leave before the seal. The boundary has been drawn. The old access has expired. The false identity is breaking. And now we are going to come into prayer, declaration, and agreement that the warfare cannot follow you forward. Now lift your heart before God, beloved. If you can, place your hand over your chest. If you cannot, just become still where you are. Do not rush this moment. Do not click away. Do not let distraction pull you out of agreement right when the seal is being placed. This is the moment where we bring the whole season before the Father and say, Lord, what you have ended, let it remain ended. What you have closed, let it remain closed. What you have covered, let it remain covered. Father, in the name of Jesus, I bring your child before you right now. I bring their mind, their heart, their body, their home, their family, their finances, their calling, their sleep, their emotions, their memories, their future, and every hidden place that has been under pressure. Lord, you have seen the warfare. You have seen the tears they did not explain. You have seen the nights they fought silently. You have seen the moments when they almost gave up but still whispered your name. And now, by your authority, we ask you to seal the boundary you have drawn. Close every door to old warfare. Close every door that fear opened. Close every door that trauma opened. Close every door that agreement with lies opened. Close every door that unhealthy connection opened. Close every door that confusion, shame, guilt, bitterness, exhaustion, and desperation opened. Let no hidden access point remain. Let no familiar spirit come through a familiar pattern. Let no old voice regain authority. Let no old cycle find a way back into this new ground. I cancel every assignment of torment over their life in the name of Jesus. I cancel the assignment against their peace. I cancel the assignment against their sleep. I cancel the assignment against their discernment. I cancel the assignment against their family. I cancel the assignment against their finances. I cancel the assignment against their future. Every word spoken against them in darkness, every trap set in secret, every plan designed to pull them back into fear, let it be exposed, overturned, and made powerless by the hand of God. Father, expose every hidden trap before they step into it. Reveal what is not from you. Reveal counterfeit voices before they gain influence. Reveal open doors before they become cycles. Reveal manipulation before it becomes attachment. Reveal distraction before it becomes delay. Give your child clean discernment, not suspicious discernment, not fearful discernment, clean discernment, discernment that hears your voice clearly. Discernment that knows the difference between conviction and condemnation. Discernment that knows the difference between patience and paralysis. Discernment that knows the difference between love and control. Cover their mind. Let the racing thoughts settle. Let the torment lose its grip. Let the accusation fall silent. Cover their body. Let strength return. Let breath become steady. Let rest become possible again. Cover their family. Let peace enter the rooms where strife has been speaking too long. Cover their finances. Let provision come without panic, stewardship come without fear, and increase come without chaos. Cover their future. Let no weapon formed against them prosper. Let no plan of darkness outrun the purpose of God. I decree and declare that the cycle is broken. I decree and declare that peace is released. I decree and declare that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I decree and declare that what God has closed cannot be reopened by fear. I decree and declare that the old warfare has no legal access to your next season. I decree and declare that the torment stops here. I decree and declare that the panic stops here. I decree and declare that the confusion stops here. I decree and declare that the draining, the spiraling, the chasing, the begging, the bracing, and the breaking stop here. I decree and declare restored sleep over you. Sleep without dread, sleep without heaviness, sleep without waking up under invisible pressure. I decree and declare clean dreams, protected nights, and mornings that do not begin with fear. I decree and declare courage to obey when God speaks, courage to release what He says release, courage to walk through what He opens, courage to stop negotiating with what He already closed. I decree and declare protection from counterfeit voices, counterfeit comfort, counterfeit opportunities, and counterfeit peace. I decree and declare provision without panic, doors opening without manipulation, resources arriving without torment, wisdom to steward what God releases, peace that remains when the blessing comes, peace that remains when the answer is still forming, peace that remains when people do not understand, peace that remains when the old temptation to fear knocks again. You will not answer that knock. You will not reopen that door. You will not call bondage familiar and run back to it. The boundary has been blessed. The decree has been spoken. Heaven has marked the line. Now breathe, beloved. Receive that. Let your spirit receive what your mind is still learning how to trust. The war trained you to expect another attack, but God is training you to expect His covering. The war trained you to scan for danger, but God is training you to stand in peace. The war trained you to survive, but God is bringing you into restoration. And now, I want you to do this in agreement. Leave your prayer request in the comments. Do not carry it alone. Write what you are believing God to seal, restore, protect, and release. Let this community stand with you as the warfare ends and peace begins. When you write it, you are not begging fear for mercy. You are placing your request before God and agreeing that this battle is no longer allowed to define your future. If you receive this decree, like this video right now as a sign of agreement. Subscribe for more prophetic messages of protection, healing, and breakthrough. Share this with someone who needs closure from a long battle, someone who needs to know that God has drawn the line and the old warfare cannot cross it, and comment these exact words. The warfare cannot follow me here. Type it now. The warfare cannot follow me here. Let your comment become your declaration. Let your declaration become your agreement. Let your agreement become the seal over this moment. It is over. Step across the line. Do not look back. The Lord has gone before you.